The outcome of a murder trial could well decide the course of new relations between India and Canada under a new Canadian Prime Minister who will be announced on Sunday to replace outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Relations between India and Canada have plummeted after Trudeau said publicly there are credible allegations that the Indian government was behind the murder of Khalistani Hardeep Singh Nijjar in British Columbia in Canada on June the 18th of 2023. Trudeau offered no evidence and the Indian government called the allegations absurd. But that spat led to cross-expulsion of many diplomats, including the Indian High Commissioner and the acting Canadian High Commissioner in the last round of expulsions late last year. But the focus now is on the criminal case over the killing of Nijjar. 4 men, all Indian nationals, have been arrested by the Canadian police in this case. Hearing has been adjourned several times. A case management hearing is now due in court in British Columbia next month. Critical to the case will be whether allegations are brought and then upheld over any further conspiracy that may involve anyone from the Indian government. Senior Canadian police officers have spoken of irrefutable evidence of Indian government involvement, but again offered no evidence to back that allegation. It's what emerges in court now that could settle this business of allegations and cross-allegations one way or another. But the Nijjar case in Canada does not stand alone. It spills over into an indictment in the US. That US indictment points to the involvement of a senior Indian official in a plot to attempt to kill the Khalistani Gurpatwant Pannu in the US. It says that a senior Indian official, later identified as Vikas Yadav, was sent a video clip of Nijjar's body lying in his car. The indication is, or the inference was, that this clip could only have been taken and sent by the killers, so pointing to a link between the killers and the Indian official. But further, the indictment alleges that Yadav then sent this clip on to his hired agent Nikhil Gupta to inspire him to kill Pannu in the US. So that would then make the Indian government official common to both the Nijjar killing in Canada and the Pannu plot in the US as this indictment goes. In January of this year, the Indian government acknowledged to the US government that an Indian official was indeed involved in the Pannu plot. It described him as a rogue element who had acted without government backing. But India continues to deny any involvement in the Nijjar case in Canada. With new governments in place both in Canada and the US, India will no doubt lobby both to come to some settlement that avoids the outright confrontation we've been seeing. In the US, with which relations are critical, this has been so far more or less a side issue. With Canada, this has been at the heart of the troubles. Much of the reset, if any, will depend on the success of Indian diplomatic moves with the new governments and on the legal outcome of the court cases.